Hey there, welcome to the presentation of my Data Warehousing and Business Intelligence ETL Project 2 presentation for National College of Ireland IFSC campus as part of my Level 9 PG Diploma in Data Analytics course. My student credentials are given on the left. This is a data warehousing implementation applied to the ethnic restaurant and takeaway sector. The main task of this project is to be able to architect, populate, and explore a data warehouse for the purposes of business intelligence. We must be able to demonstrate a working knowledge of the extraction, transformation, and loading process, or ETL as it is popularly called. We must also be able to use three types of data: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, such as from social media feeds like Twitter. This project must accomplish the following two tasks. We must assume the role as a data warehousing and business intelligence expert and build a prototype data warehouse to convince management to invest in a fully fledged data warehouse. We must also prepare 3 or more appropriate case studies that can be used to convince management of the usefulness or utility of a data warehouse solution. Basically, convince management to buy into the notion of investing into a data warehouse. An important consideration for a data warehouse is that we must consider the return on investment, or the ROI. Since data warehousing projects involve a high investment, the end has to justify the means. That is, the return on the investment must prove that the gains from investing in a data warehouse justify that investment by way of enhanced profitability and better processes. Data warehouses are reported to fail 50% of the times, according to studies, if they are poorly planned or badly executed. In the initial part of my project, I have discussed a few things about how a data warehouse works, what are the factors to its success, as you can see from my report, and I have then created this little diagram which explains pictorially the whole process of ETL. As you can see, this is a step-by-step diagram from bottom up. It starts from the stage of extracting the data to administrating and running the data into the warehouse to creation of OLAP cubes, which is the online analytical process cubes, and finally deriving the results from the data which I worked with was in an extremely difficult format. They were all .srf files, or server reference files, and they were in this format as you see in the picture at the moment in front of you. Each docket was nested under the day, and the days were nested under the months, and the months were nested under the years, and so on, as you can see from these pictures here. In order to extract all my data, I wrote a very good program with C#, which is demonstrated here, and it basically converts all the .srf files into .csv files. I started my ETL process by building my data warehouse by creation of a new project on MS SQL and called it Data Warehouse Project. I created my initial staging table in which I extracted all the data from the .csvs thus created. Next, I cleans up the data using this SQL syntax. As you can see, this is getting rid of all the semicolons, blank spaces, stars, and asterisks, and cleaning up my data and making it fit for purpose. After building my fact table, I also built all my other dimension tables like customers, employees, menu items, and extracted the data and broke them down from the staging table. Here you can see my architecture is already falling in place. It's beginning to gain some shape, and then I opened the Visual Studio and created a project for the ETL process and named it DWETL. I blanked out all the data from the tables first to clean it up in order to be able to put sensible data into it. I also used RStudio to get some Twitter feeds and do a sentimental analysis based on an online program which basically analyzes Excel sheets, and this is the result for that. After passing the data from all the discrete sources and so on, I was able to eventually do the multicasting and load all the data from the staging table, and this is what it shows it. And finally, merge all the data into the OLADB destination, and using the above SQL command, I extracted all the data from the various dimension tables and sentimental tables and stored it in my fact table. This effectively concluded my initial ETL process, in which I have parsed the data, corrected and enhanced it, standardized it, matched the records, consolidated the matched records, and I'm going to move on to the analytics service next. Okay, this is fairly easy peasy. You just use the MS SQL analytics service and create an analysis project by creating an OLAP queue. In this, we also create certain new dimensions such as date dimensions for better analysis of the use cases by using dimension wizard. As you can see, all my dimensions and the relationships are becoming eminently clear. Lovely job there. And fantastic. Now we have outputs. After creating all the required dimensions, the analysis service was run to investigate the use cases by generating pivot tables on MS Excel, some of which are illustrated as discussed below. Here you see some more awesome tables which are giving a flavor of the entire shape of the business and the health of the business, the monthly sales trends, the yearly sales trends, and so on. And last but not the least, here is the Twitter sentiment analysis. It is an awesome graph. It gives us all the dish names and the positive, negative, and neutral comments relating to those dishes in this lovely tricolored bar chart, which pretty much brings us nicely to the end of my slideshow. As you can see, I've got the 3 business value use cases and the discussions, and I'm able to make some solid and concrete recommendations to the management. And I want to thank you for watching it, folks.